What is up, guys? We are here today with the fourth round of the Reddit Yu-Gi-Oh! Nonmeta tournament. Joining me today, as usual, is Grandlam. How do you feel?
I feel great. Really excited to see these decks play.
Yeah, we have two really interesting decks today. We have Master Salty playing, what did we call this? Resonator, Red Dragon Archfiend, I think?
Yeah, Red Dragon Archfiend Resonator.
Yeah, it's like the fan name for the deck. And then we have Free Double Iris over here, Reddit user Hexarby, playing 60-card PaleoFrog.
Yeah, Paleo is a staple in non-meta tournaments.
Yeah, it's not always had the most success, actually, surprisingly. It just seems to kind of like not convert that well into Top Cut, which I think we covered in the intro video, but always kind of just like a staple of this tournament. But Resonator, definitely an exciting one. They got some pretty neat cards, which we'll hopefully see over the course of this duel. And I do want to comment actually before we start that there's like a lot of decks that are like really solid in this tournament, and we're featuring kind of the more janky ones. But we are still only on round 4, so this is halfway through Swiss, and I think we'll have plenty of opportunities to see like Earth Machine and Orchist and Unchained. So I think, as we progress a little further, we're probably going to be featuring a few more of those, but for now we're going to take kind of like any opportunity that we can to really showcase like the janky stuff. Because, what's the point of the tournament if you can't showcase that kind of stuff?
Do you know the records of these two players?
I actually don't off the top of my head. I know they're not undefeated, but I don't know if they're X1 at this point.
Okay.
But, yeah. Regardless, let's just go ahead. We have Salty winning the die roll, so this is the Resonator player. And she's going to go first. So opening hand for the Resonator player is going to be Wandering King Wildwind. So before we go any further, let's break down what this does. Summons itself if you have a Fiend type tuner with 1500 or less attack, and then searches tuners after it gets into the graveyard, but only the next turn. Okay.
Yeah, delayed search here.
Yeah, and I think in the first take of this that we did before I screwed it up, you mentioned that this was played in Plunder at some point?
Yes, this was a Plunder tech when only the first 7 cards were out.
Right, do you want to explain that a bit?
Oh yeah, you just had Whitebeard, so Whitebeard was a level 4 tuner, but 1500 attack. So you could just summon Wandering King.
Right, that's pretty
and
neat.
hard to make Whitebeard.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this card until I saw this match, so...
Yeah, it's an
cool.
Ultra and something.
In something, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got Hat Tricker, just another level 4 extender. Resonator Call, pop her up as the draw option, which is interesting. And a Trap Trick. So, interesting stuff, because this is a combo deck, right? But you have Trap Trick in there. And
yeah, once you see any combination of Call or Crimson plus a level 4, you have full combo.
Right, Crimson and Resonator are going to be kind of the linchpin of this deck, along with their level 6 synchro. So yeah, going to Resonator for Crimson, this special summons itself if you have nothing, and then if you only have a Dark Dragon Synchro, it gets 2 Resonators from hand or deck. So that's very, very good. And then I think there's a lock that's shared on most of this deck's cards, where you can't use stuff except Dark Dragon Synchros, but I think pretty much the entire extra is Dark Dragon Synchros, so we'll see what the standard combo looks like. Going to Special Crimson, Special Wildwind, going into Red Rising. So this is the star of the deck, right?
Yes, when it's summoned, you can summon a Resonator from your graveyard.
Right, so this instantly will make Crimson's activation conditions live.
However, do note, it's not once per turn on either of its effects. The second one lets you summon 2 level 1 Resonators from the graveyard.
Okay, so this is the next turn, and then you can banish it, you can special back 2 level 1s, which I don't think he has at the moment, but he's probably about to.
He might be able to get it.
Yeah, so Red Rising, bring back the Crimson, and then this is going to trigger to summon 2 Resonators from deck. So going to go Synchron and Red Resonator. These are both pretty old cards that have seen usage here and there in the meta. Red Resonator, I think, was used in Salamangreat at one point.
Yeah, for Horse Prince.
Yeah, and the really janky lists after what, Stalio ban to get Gazelle.
Yeah, desperate times.
The really desperate Salamangreat players. And then this was a staple in, I think, Dark Synchro. The Hand Loop deck from 2016 that made Triple Omega and Trisht you repeatedly. Just an extender. And this has a floating effect also, which is pretty cool, where it just adds back Resonators in your graveyard after you synchro it off, or after it goes to graveyard period.
I'm noticing a trend of not being once per turn on all these cards here.
Oh yeah, none of them are balanced, so.
High speed riders, I guess.
Resonator going to allow them to gain some life points here, always nice. I'm gonna go into Chaos Ruler.
Chaos Ruler.
So let's take a look at these mills. He's going to mill another Wild Wind, Witch of the Black Forest. So the second NMT feature match featuring this card. Allure, and then 2 Synchro Calls. So this is one of his trap trick targets, and this seems to be some kind of Excel Synchro trap. Yeah, let's see if this comes into play this match, although he's not going to be able to use it this duel with this trap trick because there's only one left. Adding back probably the Witch. He hasn't normal summoned this turn.
Yeah,
So you're going to do that
crazy.
now. Right.
Yep, make a second Red Rising.
You're going to be able to use this again, jeez. So both Witch and Red Rising summons back the Crimson and then adds Creation Resonator. So this special summons itself. This is also non-activated, so similar to Jester Confit in the Spellbook match, you can just add this off Witch, and then even though you're restricted, you can still spam this out. And yeah, Red Rising is once per turn crazy. Agreed. I'm going to Synchro for 7 or 8, 9,
setups you could do
12.
Here.
2 plus
3
1,
tuners?
6. 3 tuners and a 6 for level 12. Okay, we got anime cards. 3 tuners and 1 plus non-tuner synchro monsters. Gains 500 attack for each tuner. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When your opponent's monster effect is activated or when they declare an attack, you can banish this card and all cards your opponent controls, and then it comes back. Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that they printed the card with this on the text, but...
Yeah, Ghost from the Past, I guess, is when this came out, I believe.
Is it really? Okay, I didn't realize it was that new, actually.
Yeah, maximum anime.
Yeah, and I mean, this is gonna get you there against a lot of decks, but Paleo seems to have opened 4 traps in a pot, so we will see if this pays off. Is he gonna keep going? That's my question. He's gonna add back Red Resonator, going to set Trap Trick, and then pop her up for probably 2, right?
You're rolling 2, yep.
Yeah, he's gonna
lose
draw
2k life points.
into Red Rain and a Damage Juggler. So I think Popper Up is an interesting choice in this deck, because you'd kind of expect this deck to play pots.
Yeah, I think he does, actually.
Okay, if he doesn't, that's always fine. I think if you play like Desires and then like Popper Up, then that's a lot of draw power you got. But drawing into the Juggler, which you probably want in Grave, and then Red Rain is an interesting card. So this banishes all monsters in the field except the monsters with the highest level, and then whatever stays is unaffected. And then it recurs itself if you Synchro Summon a Dark Dragon. So I guess he wants this in Graveyard, so that's pretty neat with like Chaos Roller and Popper Up, I guess. Yeah, so a lot of ways to banish monsters, but again, this is Paleo, right? This is PaleoFrog with 4 traps in it. Yeah. So setting Red Rain, draws a second Ice Dragon. We've actually not talked about the Paleo player's hand at all so far, so just going over this, we have 2 Ice Dragons, Dynamiscus, Canadia, this is the Book of Moon, Solemn Strike, and Prod of Prosperity. So it goes into main 1, 6k attack on Supernova. Point of Prosperity, for 3, the mills are Torrential, Morella, and Lost Wind. So, pretty solid mills here. Gonna grab Torrential. So now he has Torrential Strike, which is very potent. Even in like the current metagame, this is a very potent combo that just clears boards. And this can't be destroyed by... Oh, this can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. But he has a couple ways to answer this. He has the Dynamiscus and the Ice Dragon.
You asked for it earlier, and I have the numbers here for the pots.
Yeah, sure.
31% of the players were on Prosperity, and exactly 20% of the players were on Desire.
Oh, interesting.
38% were on no pots.
I mean, in 60, I would also imagine you have plenty of room for pots.
Yeah, in fact, I think this is one of the rare ones where it's actually 2 pots, but I can't double check at the current moment.
Okay, we'll see if that comes into play later in the match. But for now, he has 6 traps and only 5 spell trap zones, so he's going to set 5 and
Flip.
Monkey Flip. Yeah. End phase trap trick for another red rain. So seems to be once per turn. Wait, seems to be the graveyard effect is once per turn.
Yeah, the first effect is not.
So 2 red rains into 5 back row. Attempt to go to battle, so just kind of circle. He has like, what is this, 9k on board?
Yeah, 9k on field right now. Actually, maybe even higher. It's 500 for each too. Right.
Mm-hmm. I think he said 6k, so I'm just gonna take his word for it.
Yeah.
Attacks with the supernova, so we're gonna see Canadian to flip it.
Red rain maybe.
Yeah, so change red rain, change Dynamiscus, because you can't wait for this to resolve, or else none of your stuff will interact with this anymore.
We're gonna see an Ice Dragon.
So Dynamiscus, another red rain, and then chaining 5 Ice Dragon. So despite the double red rain, this is going to be outed, it seems. And he also manages to clear a red rising dragon, which has this really strong graveyard effect. So this is a very high value Ice Dragon here. So that's going to resolve. Red Rain is going to apply to the remaining monster with the highest level, which is Chaos Roller. And then Dynamiscus is going to try to banish Supernova, but it can't, but you still have to discard. Resolving this as much as possible, so that's good for Double Iris for noting that. And then the rest of the chain is going to resolve pretty much not super notably. Setting Witch here.
Setting Witch.
So
not opting to use Wandering King.
Yeah, he has 2 Wild Winds, which I feel like you can just use. And he has plays too, right? You can Red Rising, like search level 1 tuner, and then Red Rising eventually.
Yeah, Synchron.
Synchro climb.
Maybe he only plays 1 Synchron Resonator,
Yeah,
but I don't see why he would.
Well, Successor Strike Torrential and T Prosperity for.
I believe Torrential, so
right?
He does know. Yeah.
Probably just playing around it. Although I don't know how much you mind the Torrential in this position, because all of your stuff floats currently.
And yeah, one of them's unaffected, so I think it's fine.
No, that's fair too, yeah. Maybe if you can try to synchro for like a hot red and just trigger a red rain, I think that puts you ahead in terms of resources. The draw for turn for Paleo is going to be Ronin Totem. That's not really going to do it. Just going to set that, passes back, draws Call by the Grave. Now uses the Wild Wind, so this adds a Fiend type tuner. So grabbing Chain Resonator. This is going to be the other level 1 tuner that Red Rising is going to need in Graveyard. Because it only has the 1.
Also gets you to more stuff too. Alright, Flipping Witch.
Yeah. Someone's Chain. This is pretty strong. Think Gaming. Someone's Crimson from deck. A lot of thinking on the summon. They both know that a Torrential's set currently. So it goes into Hot Red. This is going to step out the Torrential. But like I said, Torrential Strike is going to be really potent here. So it goes for another Red Rising. Jeez.
Which is triggering.
Which and Red Rising again. That's really good. I forgot to click Rising, but allows it. Goes into an 8 here. This is a throwback. Hello. Beals of the Diabolic Dragons.
Can't die by battle or card effects.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you ignore what I said about Torrential, because this is just going to be really floaty, really hard to deal with.
Now, Salty's idea here is to kill Double Iris right now. He has Chaos Roller still in Graveyard.
Right, if you can just push back with this, and use Hot Right to negate the Torrential, and just hoping this is nothing, he will have, just game here. Yeah, let's see if that works. Going to Wild Wind here. I don't think he can do this because he added this Witch.
Yeah.
But I believe this was in the graveyard before he used Witch, so hopefully it doesn't come into play too much. I think he could have also just done it first. Uses Red Rising here. Someone's back, Synchron, and Chain.
I think this is where we'll see it. Yep,
yeah,
Torrential.
This is the Torrential coming out. So we're going to try to Hot Red this, and then strike on the Hot Red. But he can just make a second Hot Red here. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. And Resonator's going to add back
should be dead right now.
Oh, this should be in the graveyard, yeah.
And this should, if he knew, Chaos Roller would just come back.
Yeah, he just have game here. Yeah, I mean, some misplays from both players. I think both of them misplaying a little bit, so kind of making up for it, but these things do happen.
Yeah, I think either way, Salty's like 4 cards up, so
yeah,
or
he's
5. I guess.
extremely ahead in
Yeah.
this game, and like even with if you top deck like Desires into a Frog, you still have Called by the Grave, and so I feel like there's just no coming back from this position. And Needle Stealing is
Needle
not going to
Stealing.
be it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
forgot Red Rain. Yeah, Reveal isn't just that's the end of the game. Okay. Yeah, going to game 2 here. Paleo pretty obviously chooses to go first. Opening hand is going to be Torrential, Trap Trick, Reckless Create, Solemn Strike, and Leoncolia. Leoncolia? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, decent hand. Again, no frogs. So not the greatest if you're the Paleo
60
player.
cards, so.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of ask for it. I don't recall anything super out of the ordinary in Double Iris's deck list. So I think we'll see what he goes into, because this Trap Trick has a lot of toolbox potential. In 60 especially. And then in Salty's hand we have Allure, Call by the Grave, Chain Resonator, Wild Wind, and Crimson.
This hand is insane again. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the combo, but he has to do this for Disruption now, and I don't really know how you do that without side cards.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be a little hard.
Yeah, if you had like a Denko Sekka, that'd be kind of neat. You know, like Crimson and then Denko and then Wild Wind, but would be interesting. Although I guess this wouldn't work with Denko. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to start off by just setting 5. Cool. Gameplay.
So we're going to Strike and Torrential right now.
Yep. Draws Creation for turn.
Not what he wants to see.
Yeah. Just gonna kind of plow ahead with the same plays before from game 1. Goes into Red Rising. Interesting if he's going to strike the summon of this. It's going to allow everything.
Wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Right. Interesting that he Torrential's here. I guess he knows what Synchron Resonator does from game 1, so he doesn't there's no point letting it hit the field.
Yeah.
And there's also no point like putting level 1 tuners in the graveyard for Red Rising, so Torrential here is probably fine. So that's called by. Is he going to blind Allure?
Allure.
He doesn't. He says, "I don't believe in myself here." Okay, all right. Face Trap Trick. Going to go for Fiend Griefing.
Fiend Griefing.
That's...
Are about to see Jack back?
Yeah, and this is going to put back either the Red Rising or the Wild Wind here. Puts back the Wild Wind to deck, and then Backjack is going to banish Pointer, Judgment, and Morella. So this is an interesting inclusion. I think especially in 60, this is an interesting card to play.
Yeah, I don't know what side cards he'd want to rip out with that right now, but
right, and it's a little strange because like you really don't want a Trap Trick for this, because then you turn off all your back row. But
yeah,
this is like activatable at any time, so you can trigger Paleos with it. Quite nice, I guess.
Well, something cool here is that he does have Lean Choila face down, so once Backchat sets a card, he can just put it back into the graveyard.
Right, which unfortunately won't trigger Backtrack again, but he will be able to just excavate and set 2 traps potentially. Depending on how he plays his next turn, of course. So yeah, put stuff back. And then he's going to backtrack immediately. Goes for Morella here. Yeah, so I guess not happy with top decking Judgment or a Pointer, and he can manipulate his top deck this way.
I believe Morella lets him play too, actually.
Yeah, this is going to dump Paleos, and he can start. I think Reckless is trainable, Leoncolia is trainable, so this is a rank 2 play.
Yeah, if he starts Morella for turn, I believe.
Right, and then he passes. Right, he can't use anything because of Trap Trick, so. Yeah, never mind what I said about rearranging the deck, actually, because he was under Trap Trick. But yeah, we're probably going to see a rank 2 play here. And I think no opportunity to use Paula by the Grave.
All these are traps, unfortunately.
Right. Stomach a Paleo, Leoncolia, Chain to Paleo, putting back to Backjack, very good, and then Reckless here, Chain another Paleo, drawing another Reckless and Dynamiscus, pretty good. And then are we going to see a Toad? Just going to poke
getting
first.
Some damage in
24.
first.
And actually going to go for Opabania instead of a Toad. Not the spooky boy I expected. No, I agree with that.
You about to go for draw 2 or yeah?
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, so we never see this card. This is Destiny Draw, right?
Yeah, Destiny Draw for Paleozoics.
Yeah, so a total of 4 cards drawn this turn. Pitches the Dynamiscus, because I think he's pretty confident in this strike to keep him in the game. And then chaining a Paleo, drawing 2, Draws a Canadia. So no other Paleo this turn, so there's not going to be a Toad hitting the field, I don't think.
These are all strong draws, so...
Yeah. Unless he can Canadia his own... No, he can't Canadia his own monsters, so there's no Toad hitting the field at all. But this is going to be a pointer IDP Canadia. Yeah, shotgunning the pointer in draw phase.
What do you take here as double
I mean, these cards don't do anything, right?
Nope.
So I think Chain Resonator, because it's a level 1 also. So in case he somehow combos, it stops him hitting the grave.
Well, Red Rising needs 2, so...
Yeah, but like in theory, it's one of the 2. I don't know.
Okay.
And this can get another. Or you can like dump it with Popper Up and then like potential. I don't know. Probably like I don't think you're too worried as double Iris here, but probably you get rid of Shane. Reveals the Canadia for a pointer.
He's taking Chain Resonator, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pays 2,000. Chains of Paleo. Yeah, the NS boy. Okay, so get rid of Chain. And then he's going to Blind the Lord. Not setting the Popper Up, a little ballsy. I guess you're just all or nothing at this point, so...
You might be playing around set Olendis.
That's true.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, draws the Dark and Resonator Call. So, just Resonator Call is still not going to get him there. But I'm going to special roll Crimson, and then YOLO Popper Up for 1. So, bets on what the draw is. Will he draw Wish with the Black Forest?
Going straight -1 here, so it has to be it.
Special summon was 1,000 life points. Okay. Draws...
He knows he has...
Yeah. I mean,
he knows he has
Skullmeister.
Candida, so...
Or, Canadia is in the hand, yeah, so potentially stuffing out whatever. Draws a playable hand is insane. Time for interaction, though, totally correct. Allows the Skullmeister.
Okay.
And then just strikes the Red Rising.
Strike.
So I think this is probably over. Yep. I mean, pretty straightforward game 2. We saw the Resonator deck do interesting stuff game 1, but like really not able to do that same thing through Disruption. Kind of seeing why this deck is not at the top tier. But cool stuff nonetheless. Yeah, so going into game 3. Resonator's going to choose to go first again, most likely. And opening hands are going to be Damage Juggler, which is Black Forest, Red Rain, a second Damage Juggler, and Resonator Call.
So he has it. Yep.
Yeah, level 4 and Resonator Call is combo as we saw. Although, I'm going to be interested to see if he still goes into Supernova after seeing his opponent on PaleoFrog. I would assume not. And then PaleoFrog opening Oleanoides, Dynamiscus, Fiend Griefing, Desires, and Ronin Totem. So he plays both Desires and Prosperity in this deck, which is neat to see. I know you had some pot stats from the first round.
Yeah.
Put together.
I believe Desires is at like 20-ish%. I can't pull up the numbers right now. But...
Yeah, that's fine. Do you have an idea, like a ballpark of how many decks play more than one pot? Because I would imagine it's pretty uncommon.
It was really uncommon. I think it was like less than 3.
Right. Although Devil Iris is also playing 60, so I guess you can easily make a case for like multiple pots in 60.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and just see what he does with this hand. So gonna go Crimson and Witch going into Red Rising. Both Witch and Crimson.
He had Skullmeister last game, so this might be Let's Search this time.
Search a hand trap, or just an extender. Or grab this for next turn, right? This is gonna take 3 turns to pay off, right?
Yeah, he can't do it this turn, so...
Crimson going out for Synchron and Red, and then Red getting life points.
Can you normal summon what you summon off Witch?
It's a great question. Yeah.
You just can't use it.
Yeah, because you can special summon it, so you can definitely also normal summon it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, he already committed his normal summon, so yeah. I guess mine's done.
So Chaos Ruler again hits a Crimson here. And then the spell traps are not too relevant. I'm not really sure what the Chaos Ruler wants to hit in this deck. You know, because it's not like in Dragon Link where like you're trying to mill like your Safers and your Tidyings and your...
I imagine it's Red Rain, Damage Juggler, or what? So everything in his hand, basically.
Oh, Red Rain is a really good point. Yeah, no, you're right. No, that's really funny. Yeah, this all should be in the graveyard. So I guess this is also why he plays Popper Up, right? Because if this hand had Popper Up, it'd be insane.
Yes, it would.
But ifs and buts. What can you do? As a Crimson. And then, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, is he doing it?
Oh, this has an effect. Okay, we need to read
Yeah.
cards better. So this just summons itself for free. So this is not going to take 3 turns to pay off. Yeah, I mean, Salty clearly knowing his deck.
Let's see Red Rising again.
Second Red Rising, yeah. Geez, this card is a lot. Goes into Synchron, and then Beal.
Beal. Okay, that's a good one.
Is he gonna pass on? Is he gonna make a hot red?
I think he's gonna make hot red also.
Right. So this is interesting because potentially, like, this is good into Torrential, and this is good into any kind of destruction. And they have to kind of Dynamiscus or Ice Dragon it.
Yeah, as Paleozoic, it's really hard to out either of these two, to be honest.
Right, you could even bring back the Chaos Roller and just have like 9k worth of dragons in the board. But maybe saving that.
It's only going to get harder as it goes on from here.
Yeah,
so.
and the follow-up also is just like the Synchron Resonator for next turn. This Wild Wind is going to add for next turn. The Red Rising's in the graveyard.
Yeah,
it's actually a really big push coming on turn 3. So sets Rising, draws a pointer for turn. Kept this in going
Pointer
second.
going second. Okay.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, I don't know if your side deck is equipped to deal with Resonator, Red Dragon Archfiend going into this tournament.
That's fair.
Okay,
going set first.
He's not going to Desires. Because I guess, I mean, he has no way of interacting with this hot red, so there's no point. So, Griefing, a pointer, Dynamiscus set. Really not much interaction here. We might see this hot red solo the game. Misclick there. Starts with the lore. Draws an extra Crimson Resonator. And then normal summons red. I think this is the first time we've seen this the entire
Yeah,
set.
this is Super X for any level 4 lore.
Right. Marauding Captain.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. That was ooh, wait a minute.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so this is 2 tuners and a Beals. So this is a card that our mutual friend Lundredy has used at some time in the Megalith deck, right? I think that was the only time this card has ever seen meta relevance.
Yes, DDD played it too, but it wasn't relevant. Yeah.
Which deck?
DDD.
DDD. Okay.
You can use Fiber to tag out into it.
Right. So this effectively is VFD on steroids. So your opponent can't activate cards, and they can't activate their effects, and also you can't respond to this. So all of this back row, none of which is strike, by the way. I think the only way to stop this is like stalling the summon.
Yep.
But none of that there.
And if it dies, you can also just like summon something else.
So this brings back Beals when it dies.
So even if you striked it.
Yeah. And also when it kills something, you can burn for 100 damage in this Ronin, which always a little plus. So gonna use this. No response, obviously.
Sure.
Shrug, yeah. What are you gonna do? Brings back the Chaos Ruler, banishes the juggler from hand.
Now, can he kill him? No. Oh, well.
Well, this revives.
No, this doesn't look like him.
This revives in defense. So this is at most 62, right?
Yeah, I don't think he realized that most of these don't have much attack. So, okay.
Was there a way to, I guess he could have Red Rising? No, he has no other tuner.
Can you just discard Damage Juggler for no reason for his effect? Or is there like a restriction on it?
No, it's only when a card or effect is activated, or during the battle phase.
Okay,
oh, wait a minute. It's either battle phase, yeah. So you just go ahead and pitch this.
He would have to do it before the battle phase to search.
That's a good point.
Level 4 hat tricker.
Yeah, and Double Iris went straight from main to end phase. So that's a neat heads up play that I guess did not matter. I'm wondering if there was. I mean, he could have Wild Winded for maybe another Synchron Resonator. And then Red Rising for some. I don't really. I'm not familiar with the Red Dragon Archfiend extra deck, but maybe deciding also not to overcommit.
Well, he can't.
I mean, yeah, he has King Calamity, so maybe. Maybe he could have just like John Madden all over the field and just gone for it. But still in control of this game, I think, with King Calamity. So yeah, beating over the Ronin burns for 100, whopping 100, and then 62.
Let's see a special summon coming in.
Yeah, gotta bring back a tuner here. Is this once per turn? Oh, it is. Okay. Going to set Synchro Call.
Opting to pass. Okay.
Right. So this is the Excel Synchro. Can he actually make a second one of these on the opponent's turn?
Yes, he can. If he plays 2. He just has to bring back a level 3, I believe. And it's combo right there.
Right, 1, 8, and
A level 3 or level 2?
3, right? Okay, so that would work. Yeah. What's interesting is that this is like not a consistent strategy, right? And so there was some debate at the start of this tournament about what kind of strategies are considered too uninteractive, and I want to talk a little bit about the Raid Raptor players that we had that tried to play like Kaliuga Turbo, where you flip the PK rank up on the opponent's turn and you kind of just lock them out of the game. And so it's like a gray area for sure, but this I'm actually like a lot more okay with, because none of the Resonator cards search this, I don't think, in archetype at least.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so it's just kind of relying on drawing into this or trap checking for this. And then secondly, King Calamity is not a heavy storm, and Kaliuga is. So I'm like a little more okay with this existing than the Kaliuga version.
Something Salty has to be careful of is that King Calamity can actually sort of miss timing.
How so?
It's a when you can effect, so if he uses that trap card as Chain Link 2, he won't be able to activate it. So maybe Double Iris has anything to force it.
Yeah, and then also what you maybe want to consider is whether you do this on the opponent's turn or whether you're going to do it on your own turn to just push for game and turn up all the back row. Because, like, realistically, what is your opponent going to be able to do on their own turn? So yeah, gonna add Synchron and main phase 2. And then just pass. So
lost when he turned.
Dynamiscus is going to force out the hot red, and then Fiend Briefing here for probably backtrack. So puts back the Red Rising.
Yeah.
This should probably be in the extra deck.
What's his other set card?
A pointer. So this is not going to help, but this will trigger a Paleo. So the banishes are Fiend Briefing, Canadia, and Trap Trick. The Canadia is decent, but
yeah, Canadia is strong here.
But he can't backtrack on his own turn. So puts these back.
He can't even use the pointer, actually, I just realized.
Because he's at 17? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he doesn't have the life points for it.
He's just gonna Desires, yeah, so not really caring about
doing it manually. Okay, draw 2.
Torrential Elenoides.
And Salty not opting to make a second King Calamity, so...
Yeah, he just allowed all this. I guess, like, if he sets a bunch and then you can Secret Call on your own turn, I'm not sure what you're afraid of after this resolves, so I think you're just going to go for the kill shot. I think, like, Strike and Torrential maybe barely gets you there. But you have to force the hot red, so... Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to kind of claw your way out of this one. The dragons are just a little too big, and Paleo doesn't have that many options for dealing with monsters this big.
Not adding back?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to. Yeah, he's going to. Just taking a while to think, because Paleo's just going to set 5. Okay, so top deck is Trap Trick. So the sets are Elenoides, Lost Wind, 2 Elenoides, Torrential, and then a Pointer. So I think with only Lost Wind and Torrential, I don't know if he's going to have enough here.
He has to be careful. Yeah, King Calamity floats.
Yeah. It's going to summon Synchron, thinking Paleo. It's going to use Red Rain here. Oh boy. So Torrential here as Chain Link 3. So this is actually pretty smart, because this forces out the Red Rain, and then you can chain your Disruption to the Red Rain. So Torrential 3, Hot Red 4, Lost Wind 5. And then oh geez, this is, I think, the biggest chain we've had the entire tournament.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, I think?
7? Yeah.
6, yeah, sorry.
Thinking on targeting Crimson.
Did he have the Red Rain here?
Well, it would have gotten popped, right?
Does he care about that, though?
Because he keeps the King Calamity, and then he Synchro Calls?
Which is going to get banished anyways, whatever he synchros.
Yeah, so maybe he didn't feel confident.
Well, yeah, Red Rain's going to banish everything else, all the other monsters, though, but I felt like he was in the lead. So I don't know if it was the correct choice whether or not to Red Rain. Because
also, if you Elenoides here, and if you feel like you have game with your follow-up in hand and your Synchro Call, you just make this unaffected and then you just try to poke for damage. Because also, the King Calamity on the Paleo is game, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he was just hoping, like, if he can keep this up, and then you can just kill him. And also, I guess you don't want your opponent... I guess there's no Paleos in Grave right now, so that's actually not relevant. Okay, so this is a monster chain resolving backwards. So he's going to Synchro Call, summoning Crimson, synchroing for
another
a
King
second.
Calamity?
Yeah, so this When You Can is going to be relevant, potentially.
Yeah.
Although the last two sets just don't do anything, so it's not relevant. Yeah, I don't know. So Lost Wind misses on Hot Red, so Hot Red negates Torrential. That's nutty. Huh, okay, so the Hot Red resolved successfully because it got synchroed off for Synchro Call. Torrential's negated, and then Red Rain's effect banishes everything except both King Calamities because they're the same level. This is actually really smartly played by Salty, I feel like.
Yeah, this is pretty nice. 8k on board.
And then the Aleo pops the Red Rain.
Cool.
Yeah. And he doesn't even declare the King Calamity because maybe he knows that this misses timing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just knowing this deck pretty well.
I just go it in. Okay.
It's still going in. I mean, these are unaffected, so you just have to give him the bag at this point, right?
Yeah, I believe at this point it's just there's nothing Double Irish can do unless rise to full height.
Also an effect on the Red Rising, goes for Scarlight.
Scarlet. He's flexing it.
Maybe just flexing, yeah.
Yeah.
He can't even use this. These are unaffected anyway. Like, triggering the Red Rain, so... Honestly, the recursion in this deck is really impressing me.
Wait,
Goes Battle Phase, the Desperation Backjack to see what he can hit. Goes Compulse, I don't think that's gonna do it.
Unfortunate. Well, Boku off the top would have been so sick.
So Compulses, chains Paleo, this gets rid of the Scarlight. He can body block here.
Oh, that's right, he can body block. Hold on.
Yeah, he needed to chain Eleanoides to the Compulse, I think.
Oh, well, actually, Dinomiska should be banished, because it got
I think they
banished
caught
off the field for Red Raid, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think they caught it. He's gonna have to Eleanoides his own set, yeah. So he pops... I mean, the appointer was dead anyway, because he's at 17. So he's really just Desperation body blocking. Not dead. Yeah, I mean, that's really the victory here. He survived a turn against 2 Calamities. And Top Deck Judgment
Judgment feels bad.
Going to do it. I think even Swap Frog would not have done it. I don't see how Paleo ever clears 8k worth of dragons in one turn. Passes. Goes for another Red Rain.
Red Raid.
Chains Paleo to the right. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. We're just gonna see some more flexing from Salty before the game ends. But Panthers.
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah.
Oh wow.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Could have judgmented the Pentaseg, but allows a flex, and that is the end of this match. This was a really entertaining one. Wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen the game not end instantly when this guy was summoned, and somehow we saw 2.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen 2 before at the same time.
Yeah, I could have overlaid these.
For Zeus?
For the banned Zeus in this tournament, yeah. I have no idea. But yeah, really cool stuff from Salty. Always cool to see these decks. Again, you know, like a little unconventional this round, but you know, you're going to see plenty of Unchained and plenty of Orcus in the later rounds, so just hang on tight if you want to see more of those. Until then, I guess we'll see you next time. Any closing words or...
See you guys in round 5.
Alright. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe for future coverage. We will be back with round 5 sometime over the weekend, probably. Peace.